Health news now this morning. The number of people infected with measles in the U.S. shooting up now to its highest level since 1996.
Infectious disease expert Dr. Manoj Jain explains what's behind this increase and what the possible risk is for you and me and for all of us. Welcome,
Sure.
Dr. Jain.
Thank you.
Measles, the MMR vaccine has been around and been very common since
50 years.
Wow.
Good grief. So
Had it for 50 years.
are people not getting it? What's the problem?
You know, this is really concerning to me and to many doctors. Many parents are foregoing the vaccine. There's this myth that it causes autism.
Right.
And so parents are not letting their children be vaccinated. And nearly 10% of parents, or 1 in 10, are not having their children completely vaccinated.
Wow.
Tell me about this myth. We've heard it
Sure.
before, and you know what? I went ahead. I had my children vaccinated. They just received their second shot before starting school.
Absolutely.
But this myth out there is scaring a lot of people, and you say it's now been debunked?
Yes, it has. So in 1998, Andrew Wakefield, a researcher, published some studies where he showed that there was a relationship between the measles vaccine and autism. Well, his data was bogus. When other researchers began to look at it, he had manipulated the results, and the study had to be retracted. In fact, in 2011, the journal Pediatrics put out an entire study that talked about this myth, that said that this was really false.
Wow.
And it has really set back the vaccinations for many children.
So obviously all people are hearing is the first bit and they're not hearing the second
Yes,
bit.
absolutely.
Tell us what kind of danger not having the vaccination can do, because measles,
Sure.
mumps, and rubella, all fairly serious diseases,
Sure.
yes or
And
no?
one shot.
And yeah. So let me tell you about the dangers. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes.
We all watched the Super Bowl.
Yes.
What we didn't hear was that there were 2 people in the Super Bowl village area who had measles. The Indiana State Health Department found that these 2 people had measles, and subsequently 14 other individuals developed measles.
Wow.
And guess what? 13 of those 14 had not been vaccinated.
Unbelievable.
So when you get people in a large crowd, what happens is if they haven't received the vaccine, then they develop a disease.
Because you mentioned if you had measles,
Yes.
Mary Beth and I have a very high risk of
Very high.
getting it just from what we're doing right now.
Absolutely, 75 to 90% chance of developing measles. If I had measles and if you had not been
It doesn't
vaccinated,
have to be close contact.
it hasn't. This is close enough contact for measles to spread. It has one of the highest attack rates.
Wow. Can it be life-threatening in an... like some of those
developing countries,
diseases are
yeah.
worse in older people
Sure.
than they are in
So
children.
in developing countries, we find 8 to 10% of people who develop measles die. In
Wow.
our country, we have lots of sophisticated intensive care, so we can really improve the survival rate. But why go through that horrible
Well, and
disease?
at what cost? Because at some point, don't you have a social responsibility to others if you can prevent something that is a public health problem?
Sure. And it's also a sort of a personal issue. Imagine your child. If your child had fever, cough, in fact, my 12-year-old is at home today, and he's sick. But when your child is sick, you don't know what viral illness they have.
Right.
With measles, the initial presenting signs are fever, runny nose, cough, and all those. Later on, the rash developed, the classic thing that we develop. But I know my child doesn't have measles, and I know your child won't have measles because they've been vaccinated.
Tell me, if you're a parent at home sitting there right now, what is the routine? How far apart do you spread the vaccinations? When do
Sure.
they start? How many vaccinations?
So 2 vaccinations, one at age 1, the second at preschool. And to go to the doctors, and it's part of the routine vaccination. Again, 1 in 10 parents are foregoing the vaccine. They're not getting
That's
the complete
crazy.
If
vaccination.
for older kids, though, can we do it now? If your kids are
Sure.
teenagers and never received it, can you start now?
You can absolutely do that.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Dr. Jain,
Important
thank you so
topic.
much.